Minasan konnichiwa and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today, guys, I'd like to talk about something, a topic, which is something that I would never tell my own kids, but my mother used to tell me. I don't know, my mother often listens to my podcast, so she might actually be listening to this and she might actually get angry with me again, but it is something really important. And I completely understand that my mother was always worried about me with all the stuff that I do, because I am the kind of person who goes around everywhere, constantly challenging new things and always taking risks and doing stuff. So as a parent, I'm pretty sure I made her worry a lot of things about me, so it's not her fault, but it is something that was an obstacle for me in my life, and something that I don't want to give my own kids, my 3 kids, myself. And to make a long story short, what it was whenever I used to, and I was still, like, for example, a teenager or in my early 20s, there was something that my mother always told me that kind of stopped me from constantly moving or challenging new things. And in Japanese, it was actually something called fura suruna. Now, fura suruna, it's really hard to try to directly translate it into English, but basically what it means is don't go all over the place, or don't just waver around, basically. So I was the kind of person who would challenge new things and say, this was really fun, but I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do something new, and I'd do something new, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm tired of this already, so I'm going to be moving on to something new and all that kind of stuff. So I was going around when I was like in college, or new people, challenge something new and then quit in between, and then do something new and then quit that, And, you probably understand that even now, as an adult at 28 years old, I still am that kind of person. I don't stay still in one place. I go all over the place, and I train in a lot of stuff. And that's the reason why I'm just curious and interested in so many things. And I'm not the kind of person who can stay dedicated and focused on just one thing. Now, I completely understand for some people who are capable of just focusing on one thing. A person like me might look like not focused, not concentrated, not so serious, for example. And my mother might have been that kind of person. And originally, in Japan, there was a generation, my mother's generation, who would be in their 40s and 50s, who believed that it's better to actually focus on one thing because of the society back at that time. And what I mean by that is, in Japan, when the economy was stronger and Japan was more independent, I guess, and such, it was the society was normal to have a lifetime employment system. So, for example, once you start working at a company, you'll be able to forever work at that company until you retire, and you will get retirement money, and you'll be able to live your afterlife, what should I say? Yeah, you're being elderly, life with a lot of money. And that was the road ready for you, the rails that were ready for you in Japanese society when the society was much stronger than right now. So that's the reason why it was more important to stay in one company. The older you get, the more experience you have in one company, you'll have more salaries, and that was like the right way to live a life in Japan. So that's the reason why my parents were obviously taught that by their parents, and my parents would teach that to their children. So that's the reason why my parents would teach me that too. But again, as I always say in all of my videos, Japan's economy, the strength, and the situation are obviously very, very different from how it was in the past. And there is absolutely no company in Japan that will be able to support a worker from the very beginning to the very end of their lives anymore, which means that people will have to constantly change jobs, constantly change their environment, but still be able to survive, which means you need to have multiple skills, multiple connections with other people in order to survive the society today in Japan. So the values have completely changed, and that's 2 things. So society has changed, and my personality itself is the kind of person who would love to go around everywhere, challenge new things, and meet new people, But again, this goes against the 1950s to around 2000s people's ideas, I guess, around there. Yeah. So I had to fight against that for a long time. Yeah. And whenever my mother would tell me to fura suruna, which means, again, don't go around everywhere, don't be so unfocused, not concentrated, I was hurt every time, because I was just doing everything that I felt that was interesting and that I was curious about. And right now, right now, you guys understand that because I was curious and interested in so many things, I'm able to have all of the success in my business, being able to connect with you guys and so on and so forth. If, for example, I was only doing Katana, or let's say my first business was working in a restaurant, working at a restaurant, right? For example, if I was only working at a restaurant since I started working, after graduating college, I would absolutely not be here teaching you about Japanese traditional, culture, history, all that kind of stuff, social problems and such. Everything, all the things that I've done would have been really, really limited, right? And my life would have been completely different if I wasn't going around everywhere and researching and studying about everything. Yeah. So I am proud of my personality, and I'm very proud that I am curious about a lot of things. And if my kids, for example, I completely understand what my mother means, when you see your child saying that I'm going to be doing this, and they don't do it, they quit in between and they start doing something new. I think I would probably think the same thing, oh, didn't you say you were going to be doing this? And why are you already starting this? And be like, oh, I just thought it didn't suit me that much, And I know as a parent, you probably think, well, I think you should continue doing it until you get some sort of result, right? But if my kids, I want to remember how I felt when my parents would tell me these things, and I wanted to tell myself again that it's really important that I have to let my kids do whatever they want to, and in the end they will find their own conclusion. It'll come to a answer at some point. All the things that I've experienced working at a restaurant, working at a tea ceremony experience, working at a Katana experience, doing Korean, doing Spanish, doing Chinese, going to Taiwan and going to Europe and all that kind of stuff I did everywhere, going around everywhere and doing so many things, in the end, built me to who I am right now. And I really am proud of who I am right now. So I really think that was great. My life has always been perfect, and that includes being not focused and not concentrated and going all over the place, wheeling around, So for my kids, whatever they're doing, I will promise you here that to my kids, I will always tell them that I'm cheering them on with whatever they do. Even if they quit, even if they run away, that's great. Having experience of having to give up or run away at some point would be really, really a treasure in your life too, So yeah, that's something I wanted to share with you. And again, whenever I talk about these topics, it'd be great if you can let me know your ideas and your experiences with words or things that your parents have taught you that you don't want to tell your kids, This is really important. I think that we share this because between generations, ways of thinking and thought and values would obviously change. And I think most of us are quite in a similar generation. Even if we're not, that'd still be great. Yeah. Even if you're in my parents' generations, you can let me know what you thought about what my mother used to tell me and about my life and such. So I'll be waiting for your comments, guys. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know there's a lot of people studying Japanese willing to come to Japan to study, travel, or work, or even train our traditional culture and such. However, I am very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future, because we're facing a lot of social problems. We are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life trying to make Japan a better place. I want to try to solve the social problems, preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations so they can have a brighter future. And to do this right now, the biggest goal that I have is to make the Yushinkan Samurai experience a success. So if you can, it'd be great if you take a look at the description box for me. And if you have any chances of coming to Kyoto, or if you have any friends or family that are planning on coming to Kyoto, it'd be great if you can recommend the experience for me, and you'll be able to meet me in Kyoto. All right, guys, thank you so much. And again, I'll be waiting for your comments. Bye-bye.